There we go. Thank you. Welcome everyone to the June 25th, 2025 Dover Conservation Commission meeting. I'm going to read the little précis that gives us permission to have this over Zoom. Following guidance issued by the governor regarding the open meeting law, this public meeting will be held remotely, and individuals wishing to participate may do so by using Zoom video conferencing technology. To join the meeting by video conferencing using a computer or tablet, use the link on the either in the town calendar or the Conservation Commission agenda. With that, we'll open it up. We're recording this evening's meeting, and Janet, you had sent something out just prior to the meeting regarding gravel that seemed to be being dumped. Was that something you want to handle at the beginning or at the end?
I think we can do that at the end after we get
Okay.
all the permitting. Yep.
Okay, great. Then we'll do that. This evening, I guess we first on the agenda we have a discussion regarding Ben Coinman with Hartney Graymount. Is Ben here, or anybody from Hartney Graymount? So we're Lori, the administration person for the commission, is on holiday. So I am this meeting might have a few hiccups as I take over her hosting duties via the computer. Not seeing Ben or anybody here regarding Japanese knotweed. Oh, Anna, was that via you?
Yeah, I got an email from them. I think because I think as we work Hartney Graymont we talked to Hartney Graymont because of a property on Donnelly, but they were wondering about doing invasives removal with herbicide in a buffer zone and what was our approach on that. And I'm not sure where actually. So I don't think we've got a lot to say here other than I encourage them to come and talk to us as soon as they could so we could talk to them about herbicides in buffer zones because of our bylaw.
So I think we also should reach out to a few other conservation commissions. Obviously, we've allowed it in the past for pond clearing and things of that nature. If they're using glyphosate, it depends on if there's using anything else additional to that. And it would be instructive for them to give us their reasons there. Also, there was a number of emails that went back and forth relative to knotweed being showing up in different locations in town, there, whether you cover something like that to smother it, whether you continually cut it so it doesn't have a chance to see daylight, or or use the herbicide. We're open to having them come in front of us at another point to discuss that. Were they discussing it with you because they wanted to apply it to something up on Grand Hill, or was that you just noticed when you were looking at Grand Hill that it had?
I actually got an email from them saying they had a client on looks like Farm Street who wanted to remove knotweed, and how does the Conservation Commission deal with that? And I said, please come to a meeting.
I see. Okay. Janet, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just a summary of our regulations with regard to use of herbicides or pesticides. So generally, we don't allow it. The regulations prohibit the use of herbicides within the buffer zone or a resource area. But this is the language, under special circumstances, in particular for the control of invasive wetland and upland plant species, a variance may be granted by the commission for the limited and supervised use of approved herbicides. So, they would need to come in with an RDA or an NOI, and then, show us if it's a small patch area. I've seen various methods used, newspapers, and then rugs on top of that, and you try to smother it, or you can do a small herbicide application, and then again, the cover and kill approach. So it all depends sort of what the circumstances are, but the commission has allowed use of herbicides to address invasives. It's seen as, the lesser of evils in terms of letting invasives spread. But important is also having a really good invasive management plan, a monitoring plan, and then a plan to plant invasives once plant natives once invasives are cleared. So, and someone, not Ben, but I think it was his supervisor, reached out to me, and I kind of explained the same thing, that, they would need to file something before us, but that a variance could be voted on.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, I thought it was a public discussion, from Hartney Graymont to fill us in on their experience or something. I didn't realize they had a potential client there, because it just I hadn't heard from Lori regarding how this came in there. So okay, so let's see what how they approach us in the future. Next, we have an RDA for a gas main installation on Dedham and Chestnut Street. And Janet, why don't you fill us in on that?
So this is, let's see, let me get my notes on these. Get my notes out of order. This is an RDA for a proposed project to install a new 8-inch diameter natural gas line along Chestnut and Dedham Streets. All work will be within an existing paved roadway layout. There will be excavation, trenching, dewatering. The trench will be closed at the end of each workday. A potentially minor amount of work to the south of Chestnut Street may extend into bordering land subject to flooding, but that is not, that's not known at this point. So it's really very straightforward. Our standard erosion control is being proposed. And I see John Zimmer here from Epsilon Associates. So perhaps he could talk a little bit more about the project and show us a site plan. But I'm recommending approval with the special conditions that were outlined in my report.
Okay, great, thank you. Good evening, John.
Good evening.
You have the floor.
Okay, thanks. For the record, John Zimmer with Epsilon Associates. Is it possible, is it okay for me to share my screen? And I'll just kind of walk you guys through the project?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm don't normally host, so yeah, you should be able to share now. Is it letting you?
No, it says it's still disabled.
Okay, let me how about now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, can everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. Right, so as Janet said, Eversource is proposing a new 8-inch plastic natural gas main. The project is going to start just south of the Chestnut Street Bridge, which goes over the Charles River. Our wetland scientists went out and delineated the mean annual high water line associated with the river, as well as the wetland resource areas along the project alignment. So you can see these green shaded polygons are wetlands. They're pretty much all BVWs. There is a small area of floodplain, which is right in this area, right at the start. But there's going to be no change to the base flood elevation or no change in flood storage capacity, because we'll be installing the pipe within the roadway, backfilling, and then repaving. So there's really no change over existing conditions. So the project is going to continue to the south from the kickoff point. Like we said, everything is going to be within the roadway. The trench itself will be probably 18 to 24 inches in width to a depth of about 4 feet. We'll either side cast the material within the road to the side of the trench, or if necessary, we'll put it in a dump truck or other holding facility until we just put the backfill back into the trench and close up the trench for the night. So moving south, we continue down Chestnut Street to the triangle intersection with Dedham Street. The green areas here are the limits of the 100-foot buffer zone. We'll be installing erosion controls along the sides of the road, closest to the wetlands, wherever we're within the buffer zone. Um, in the event that we do need to dewater, it will be done within an upland area and it will be processed through a filter bag or a containment structure. So there'll be no direct discharges at all without filtration, back to the ground, and then the water will be allowed to infiltrate. So we continue down to Denham Street, take the turn, and then you can see there are a couple other wetland areas to the north. So we'll have erosion controls. This pink line here is erosion control. So we'll continue down the street and then we will end just basically towards right at the Westwood town line. So that the end of the project is outside of the buffer zone. But like we said, the work is proposed to start in mid-July or so and then finish up by September. And that's, from the initial planning work right through the end of restoration. So we don't anticipate, being in the roadways for that length of time. The actual construction of the project will probably be a little bit shorter than that. But that's pretty much it. Project in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Okay. I have none. Do any commissioners have any questions?
Nope, seems pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah. And Janet, do you have any questions?
No, I just wanted to make sure that the 7 conditions that were listed, those were all confirmed in your RDA application. The one exception was, along with the compost sock, we generally like to see orange construction fence on the street side of this compost sock, just so we don't have any machinery or anything going over the compost sock.
Okay, so you like it in front of the compost sock then?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okey-doke. So those 7 conditions are outlined in your regulatory report. So are there any other concerns, questions? I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Sarah,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Anna,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Entertain a motion to grant a negative determination.
Move to issue a negative determination of
Applicability.
Applicability, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing the project with the additional construction fence required.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Anna,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Sarah,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Great, thank you. So, John, we should have as I mentioned earlier, our administrative person is retiring, but she's doing I believe a couple days next week.
Okay.
And then so we may have a slight lag in terms of getting that paperwork to you, but it's certainly within the time frame that you need.
I'd also caution you to talk to Brian Russell at Sage Farm about work that you're going to do there in front of the facility, because it's a commercial riding facility and loud noises make unsafe conditions. So just
Gotcha.
trying to keep our local businesses in business.
Sure. Could you let me know the fellow's name again? Please?
Brian Russell.
Ryan Russell.
Yeah. Sage Farm is the
Sage
name
Farm.
of the.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep, we'll make
Janet,
sure
you
to do
had-
that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted also just to follow up with John. I imagine you're talking to the police department about, the construction detail, and are
Yes.
you just closing one lane?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll work out all those details with them. Thank you.
Yep. We'll work out all traffic management with police and DPW as well.
And then does this connect to a gas main in Westwood, or is it just stopping at the town line?
It does connect into there's a gas main that's right at the town line there. So it will connect in there, and then it's capped right before the bridge at Chestnut Street.
And this
No,
is
interest.
different than the electrical lines that are going in?
Yes, yeah, they'll,
Which is-
they'll come in separately for any work that they're proposing within your jurisdiction.
Okay, well, I know,
So-
because they're talking about tunneling under the river
Mhm.
for their stuff. So I know
Right, but-
Brian's met with them, but I don't think,
Yeah, it's
And it's-
not associated with this project.
Yeah, completely different branch. of,
yeah, so you get
of the
to
source.
dig up Dedham Street twice. Lovely.
Mhm.
2 summers
okay.
in a row. He's gonna
Uh,
be
And,
ecstatic.
and on top of that, we don't get any gas delivered to our homes.
Well, I was
No.
wondering how warm Sage Farm is going to be, but yeah, we don't. So we rarely have you in front of us for gas line, construction because there's no residential or business
Right.
gas lines in town. So
Yeah,
uh,
maybe you could give him a gas line. He'd appreciate.
right.
He has a greenhouse attached to the indoor, so
Uh,
it's beautiful.
okay, thank you, John.
Stop and see it.
And,
Sounds good. Thanks very much.
talk
Have a
to you
nice
soon.
night.
Okay, night.
Take care.
Let's see. Next up we have next up we have 8 Pagan Lane with GZA Environmental. Paul McManus is here, our outside consultant who's reviewing that project for us. Do you want to fill us in, Paul? Good evening.
Excuse me, sure. At the last meeting, there was a couple of suggested plan edits to clarify, take off the option for the big sandbag cofferdam option. The plans were revised to show that. I had also recommended that they provide a turbidity curtain, which the revised plans, which we received a little while ago, also show that. So Janet, with my input, has put together a series of draft conditions, which I think are pretty comprehensive. I don't think GZA would have any objection to them, but I think we've gotten everything that we requested, and my concerns have been addressed.
Okay, great, thank you. Anthony, did you get those Janet's outline for that? Did you have a chance to review that yet?
No, not super closely, but happy to run through those.
So Janet, how long ago did you pull these together, or is this?
That was sent out on Sunday, June 22nd.
Oh, okey doke. And were there, had you drafted this before, and then added new stuff, or is this the first and only draft?
No, this was the first and only draft. Paul and I had a couple conversations. Paul sent me his recommended special conditions, which were listed in my report, and then our kind of standard special conditions I added.
Okay, doke. Okay, then generally applicants have a chance to review this before we vote. It's relatively boilerplate. It's common sense. It addresses many of the things that we spoke about on site. And I think you have, what, seven items there, Janet?
7 from Paul that were very
Yeah.
specific, and then I had an additional 12.
Okie doke.
Anthony, did you get my email with my report? You should have gotten that on Sunday.
Yes, I am seeing it now.
For the first time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if everything has largely been discussed, I could always follow up if I have any questions.
Yeah,
I
I think
did have
that's
the plans ready to run through those changes too. If we were interested in doing that, I could share my screen. But
it's
if that's
not,
necessary, that's fine.
Is it substantially different than what you showed us at the last hearing? Or just adding a few of the
No, it was those 2 items that Paul mentioned. Those have been incorporated, and the construction fencing symbology was added. to C3, that's page 4, to the legend as well. And bladder dam option for a cofferdam was removed, and a note on C3 to stage additional erosion controls, including silt fence and sock
I
on
see.
site during construction.
Okay, Janet, you have your hand up?
Yeah, just wanted to add that, as we had discussed at the last public hearing in this, because the project is being accessed through DLCT land, we need to see a
Oh,
letter.
you're fading there a little.
Oh, okay. So that's a condition that before the project can begin, you'll need a letter from DLCT. And conveniently, Amy Moot is the president of DLCT. So you'll need to be in touch with her to get that letter allowing access and staging on their land.
I think we already, we signed the NOI as landowner. I signed it as landowner as DLCD, not as commissioner,
Obviously.
of course.
So if the commission thinks that is sufficient, that would be
Yeah, I
fine.
think that supersedes it. I think it makes them a party to it, as it's supposed to. So I think that's fine with that. Anyone have any other concerns regarding that?
One other thing that I'm going to recommend, and I'd really talk to Paul about this, is that because he was the third party review on this.
Okay, again, you're fading, Janet.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. Thanks.
I would recommend an additional condition that the project is monitored, including the pre-construction site meeting by the third party. So that would require that the applicant place a small amount of money into the escrow account that already exists.
Okay. And what's the status of, is it, since Lori's not here, do you know, Anthony, did you already send the check in for escrow for Paul?
Yes, that's
Okay.
been
So
dropped off.
Paul, if you could, I mean, I think Janet's having your involved in the continuity of this makes sense. We've done that in the past. If you can work up another proposal for that, please.
Okay, will do.
And then we'll get that out to you, Anthony. So given that, does the commissioners, any commissioners have a need to see the slight revisions on that plan?
Nope.
Or you're set to vote? Okay, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Amy?
I'm going to recuse since it's on
Oh, brilliant.
land.
Yep. Tim?
Sort of.
Aye.
And I will break that quorum vote and vote aye as well. And I'll entertain a motion to issue an order of conditions per the special conditions outlined both by Paul McManus and by Janet.
So moved.
And
Okay.
John,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. So they have requested a waiver to allow work disturbance within the 50-foot and a structure within the 70-foot. And in my notes, I recommended that be allowed under the grandfather policy. So
Mhm.
that should be an additional vote, I think, before voting to issue.
Okay. Then let's vote on that. We've voted to close the hearing. Let's vote on the waiver of the 50 and 70-foot setbacks under the grandfather clause.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Thank you. All in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Then entertain a motion to issue the order of conditions
Sure. Move.
with the verbiage I used earlier.
So
okay.
moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Sarah,
Aye.
Anna, Tim,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay.
Excuse me,
Great.
John,
So,
before
Anthony,
we, before we leave this, I'm just making myself a note about getting a budget. I guess my question is, how much oversight do you think is necessary for this? I agree that the pre-construction meeting is an important time to be there. Talk to the contractor, make sure they understand things. Beyond that, are you looking for a periodic check-in or a regular check-in? How do you envision that?
I think that's a very good question. So Anthony, do you have an idea of when you'll be starting?
Not a great idea at the moment. We typically wait to receive the order conditions. We can begin coordination now that we expect it in the next couple weeks or so. But I would expect late summer to early fall
Okay.
at
And
this
how
point.
long, excuse me, how long, Anthony, how long a construction period do you think it would be from, from pre-construction meeting to closure and everything gone?
I think Derek had anticipated 5 to 7 days. I think
Mhm.
7 is certainly the upper limit, and that probably would include, if it went 7, that would include, any restoration if needed.
So Paul, do you see that as a pre-construction first day, check in on the first day, check in on the third day, and check in, termination, or what do you think would?
Yeah, I was gonna suggest, pre-construction, and then, yeah, I was gonna suggest a couple days in, and then, when they think they're done and cleaned up, to to give an opinion on whether I agree with that.
Okay.
So I guess, so be pre-construction, 1 or 2 during, and then kind of a closure.
And this is Janet. I would also suggest review of the certificate of compliance as well, Paul.
Oh, okay,
Excellent. Yeah, good point.
good thought.
Okay, then, as I said, Anthony, we're a little short-handed administratively, so this may take, you may not be ready by next week for you, but we'll be working on it. Okay,
Great. Yep, and we'll
Great.
file that with the registry as soon as we get it.
okay, great. Thank you very much. And good luck.
Thank you all for your help on this. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you. Good working with you.
Take care.
Night. Let's see. Paul, are you going to be able to be here we have a couple COCs to go through, or you'd mentioned something on your on an email about timing?
No, I'm okay.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Okay, Janet, why don't you fill us in on One Bridle Path Circle?
Sure. This was a straightforward project. They submitted their as-built plan. There were some very minor deviations. The deviations were in favor of wetland protection, work further away, or work that never was done. They also installed the required signage and bounds. I was out there to confirm that. So I recommend approval of the COC with the 4 permanent conditions to be included.
Okay. Great. Well, I will entertain a motion for vote on the COC for One Bridle Path Circle.
Sure. Move to issue a certificate of compliance for One Bridle Path Road.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor? Sarah?
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Tim? And I'm an aye as well.
I can vote on
I
this
hope-
one.
Yeah, Amy can vote on this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. No, sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead. If you'd like, vote twice.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Early and often.
Next, Janet, why don't you fill us in on the Buttercup Lane septic system, 914?
Yes, so this.
Or yeah, we should vote on each one separately. So
So this was a septic system installation. All work was done according to the plan. They did install the bounds and the signage as required. I inspected the site. So I recommend approval with the 4 permanent conditions outlined in my report.
Okay, great, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Move to issue a certificate of compliance for the project as presented.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Anna?
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Also, moving on to 9 Buttercup Lane, 144-723.
So this was a project that was denied by the commission back in 2013, but it was recorded. So they are looking for a certificate of compliance just to remove it from the title. The work was never done, obviously, since it was denied, but it's simply the paperwork needs to be approved. So I recommend approval, indicating that the work was never done.
So is that, there's a form for that for DEP that's normally associated with that, but was that anything recorded at the deed, at the registry for that?
I believe the order of conditions, the denial of the order of conditions was,
That's a curious one. Okay, there's just a checkbox on that form, so I'll entertain a motion to what are we motioning on? We're
Yeah, I gotta find
we are
it.
confirming that no work was done on the EP number in question.
Sure, move to confirm that the work was not done on the project and issuing a certificate of compliance.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Sarah,
Aye.
Anna,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, next we have a continued NOI hearing on 14 Rule Drive. Janet had included in her report a number of photos and so forth. Janet, why don't you fill us in on your thoughts on this?
so I do know that Debbie Anderson, the consultant for the owner, was planning to be here. We have this on our agenda starting at 8:30. So
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, then we'll hold this in abeyance and until that time frame. And then we have a discussion on 29 Saddle Ridge, review of the restoration plan required, and I'm guessing that involves you, Paul, is that correct?
but I do know Debbie was planning to be here for that discussion. She,
Oh, for that one, that's true, they're both, okay. Yeah, so let's see, then Janet, why don't you go ahead and go over the correspondence from the commission?
so we have some correspondence, I think that went out to everyone. MWRA, the town, the Board of Selectmen are considering allowing the town joining the MWRA Dedham Westwood Water Supply. This would be supplying water near the 109 area. So to get that process going, it's a very long involved, at least a 2-year process. But the beginning is a notice of environmental notification, and that's what they're submitting. At this point, there's really, it's a formality at this point. There's nothing planned. But I'll take a closer look to see if we want to, if I'd recommend any kind of comments on their environmental notification form, but I don't think so. I think that was more of an advisory. Hale, and I,
Before you actually, just to go back to the MWRA, is that for something to feed a particular portion of town, or does once that's hooked up, how does it affect Eversource, water and things of that nature?
so Aquarian is involved,
Hmm.
but town would also have to approve this. So
Mhm.
this would allow Aquarian to tap into the MWRA to provide water supply to their customers in that area.
Oh, so it would be localized. It's not, it wouldn't go throughout their system.
I don't believe it would be for their entire distribution, no.
Oh, I
No, I see.
yeah, I
Go
think
ahead,
we
Tim.
should make sure that that's so.
Yeah, I mean, the town has been so resolute for, centuries.
Yeah, that's how
Uh,
I got here.
Yeah, and um, so yeah, I think that's. Go ahead, Janet.
That the Board of Selectmen would have to, I'm not sure if it's a formal approval, but town meeting would also have to approve this. So
Mm-hmm.
long process. There was not a lot of detail in the information they gave us. So I'll take a look at that environmental notification form. Again, I think this is very preliminary. They're just starting the process.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no plan in front of us to review. We don't know if wetlands could be impacted. I don't believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a closer look, and by the next meeting, I'll have more information.
Okay, great, thank you. Then you're moving on to Hale.
Yes, so Hale has an aquatic invasive management order of conditions from us. They sent us their annual report. I have not had time to look at that in detail. Would the commissioners like to have someone from Hale, one of their consultants, come and review that plan with us? Or is simply just maybe a summary sufficient that you
Is
received?
this a plan of something that we have already approved, or is this a new? Yeah. So I think commissioners, I have no problem with Janet, being in charge of the review there. They've been in front of us several times.
I have no
Anybody-
problem with that either.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've been they've been pretty recently, I think.
Mm-hmm. So okay, so Janet, you'll stay in your wheelhouse.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
The next is update on 1214 Miller Hill Road and 3638 Farm Road. You received the update from Goddard, which is the consultant for the responsible parties. They seem to indicate that they believe the restoration is going well. They've had a little some die off, and they're going to be replacing that soon. And again, I didn't hear back from any other parties, the trustees,
Mhm.
the other homeowners. So I'm assuming people are comfortable with the work that's being done. I don't know if the commission would like to have them come formally and do more of a presentation, or are you comfortable with what they've submitted so far?
I don't
I'm
want to see them
comfortable.
this year, but I don't care to be now.
Right. I think let it these are the next few months, see how the watering system works and how things root in there. But all things considered, based on the photos and the descriptions, it's off to a great start. So I think the reports are doing just what we want them to do.
Okay, very good. And then the next, the Eversource, middle, that is a ways off, I believe, and I haven't had time to review that, but I will for our next meeting.
Hmm. And what is that? Are they doing something with
Yeah.
the high tension wires there?
Yeah, so it's a replacement and maintenance of an existing electrical service.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
they exempt under both the state wetlands regs and our own regs.
Mhm.
But it's really just a courtesy submittal on that.
Mhm.
Put them on my list once the project started to keep an eye on the erosion control for that.
Okay. Let's see since we're so far ahead of ourselves there, I see Phil McGowan has come in. I don't know if Phil is associated with either 14 or 29 Saddle Ridge. Hi, Phil.
It's 14 rule I'm associated with.
Oh, okay. And have you been in communication with Deb Anderson?
I have. She was intending to join. I was joining in support in case there were any questions that needed to be directed to myself.
Now I remember. I didn't. We've met. We're actually moving ahead of schedule. And so we're going
Fantastic.
to cover some other things, and then we'll come back to you when
Okay.
Debbie arrives.
Thank you.
So the next thing, why don't we do the land management group update? Anna?
Sure. Let's see. So we mostly got our supplies purchased for this year. The cedar is done. Some of the spans are done. We're planning on getting organized to start building bridges this like July or so. So that should be exciting. Some things, pipe, the piping for the bridges was hard to find, but we think the DPW might have spares, so we'll try that. I had a hard time with finding signs for horses have right of way. That wasn't a great big caution sign, which was kind of not the vibe we were going for. It was just, I want like an informational horses have right of way, not like caution stop. So we'll keep at that, but we're at the end of the fiscal year. So there's our estimate. We should have some money to give back, which should make warrant committee happy with their reserve fund transfer, I think. So that's underway. Also, we had a volunteer from the community replace all the shingles on the Wild Woods little hatch sign. It looks great. I can pull up photos in a second if anyone wants it, but we did no work there. Just said thank you for volunteering, and it was great. So super appreciated to Nancy. Let's see, check our last minutes. We're planning for we're starting to think about next year, and starting with, from our last meeting, starting about going to the existing land management plans and trying to figure out all of the things that we're supposed to be doing and group them, and potentially, instead of getting another plan done for a property, get like some one-off tasks sorted out. So we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but our first move for next fiscal year is not going to be to propose rehiring Bill to do another property. It's instead going to be looking at what our recommendations are and starting there. So that's for the land management side. We kicked around the idea of having a ranger or a land manager, but haven't have any ideas there yet. And then in terms of the Whistler Trail, we're also planning on doing that this summer. So
where's the Whistler Trail?
It's the one in Wildwoods where we need to reroute it away from some properties. And and I think Greg is planning to talk to Dave Williams and try and organize a day that works for everybody.
I've seen other towns, they've called rather than ranger, they've used the term steward.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So that just a thought. Great, thank you. So we have Debbie Anderson is logged on, and Phil's here. And so why don't we go ahead and well, actually, Janet, did you have a chance to are you involved in that, or is that Paul?
No, I've done the review on that one.
Okay. So and you've received this. Why don't you fill us in on your thoughts?
So as you'll recall, a number of trees were removed on the property. I think it was about 37. We issued an enforcement order. After looking at the site, we decided an NOI was appropriate because we'd be requiring restoration, and we weren't sure if other work was being done within the buffer. We received the NOI, we opened that hearing, and we're continuing it tonight. We have received the restoration plan that was prepared by Debbie. So I'm hoping she can share that with us. I feel that it basically meets our buffer zone restoration policy and guidelines. I think I had there weren't any additional information, but there were 12 of our basic special conditions. A number of them include restoration monitoring, and some oversight of the restoration work by a wetland professional. We can go through those special conditions.
Okay, my microphone's on, Derek.
Okay. Okay, well, why don't we turn it over to you, Debbie, and would you, you can share screen, fill us in on, what you're looking to do there.
Hi, thank you. I'm sorry, I just got in from another meeting, so I'm trying to pull the plan up. Per usual, technology is not my friend. Let me see. Does anyone else happen to have it available to pull up? No. Let's.
Janet or Phil?
Mhm. All right, so those
see.
are.
Let me look for it.
Mhm.
Debbie,
All right.
I've got the plan and the letter. Is that what
Okay.
you're looking to pull up?
Sure. You want to
let me
pull that up is fine, and then
And you
I will
can-
locate the plan.
Okay. And you should be able to, you have permission to share that, Phil.
Is this what you were looking for?
There we go.
You just tell me and I'll drive, Debbie.
Okay, thank you.
Best I can.
No worries. Okay. So, we had met on site and walked around and saw the areas. And so we're proposing 3 separate restoration areas. One is along the left-hand side of the property where the vernal pool is located. Another area is along the right-hand side of the property adjacent to that bordering vegetated wetland. And the third area is the slope in front of the existing house. So those are the areas where trees had been removed. If you want to pull that down, would be great. Thank you.
Keep going or?
Keep going down to the chart if you would. Thank you.
This? Great. Okay.
So those are the areas where the trees had been removed. So we're proposing 3 separate planting plans for those areas, totaling around 215 shrubs, somewhere in that neighborhood, and 12 native saplings. The areas, I think, let me see if I can pull up some photos. If you want to unshare, I'll try to share mine that has the photos so we can kind of look at the areas we're talking about. Okay, let's see photos. Okay, can you guys see that?
We see your files, but we don't see the photos yet. Double click on it.
Double click on it. On my.
Is it frozen or?
I don't know. To me, I'm seeing photos.
Oh, you're seeing photos?
I am seeing photos.
Yeah, we're just seeing your file listing. Now we're seeing nothing. So
I'm sorry. I don't know why I always have these issues. Let's see. Okay.
we're still seeing the your file folder there.
I have no idea why.
It's interesting, and it has a I don't know if the wheel's spinning, but by your cursor, it's showing as if it was processing. Oh well, there we go. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So these are the existing condition photos. This is the area adjacent to the vernal pool in the first photo. You can see that the Japanese knotweed has kind of come in and taken over that area. And this is another view of the same area on that corner. Following along. So when they did cut down the trees recently, which I think was around 22 trees that were taken down recently, and the rest were previous to the previous owner through the years, I guess. They did grind down the trees, and they did deposit the shavings or mulch that was created by those trees. Yeah, it's kind of a mulch into these areas. You know, they did it with good intentions, thinking that it was natural material and it was from trees that were on the site. So they did put the mulch into those areas. So that is what you're seeing in the picture. This is kind of the back left-hand corner of that restoration area. And right around the back corner. So that is restoration area 1. This is the kind of loose rocks that are adjacent to the vernal pool, which makes good wildlife habitat. Okay, so this is the restoration area that is adjacent to the bordering vegetated wetland located on the right-hand side of the house. The right rear corner, along the side, and the southwesterly corner adjacent to Rural Drive. And this is the area on the slope in the front of the house. Another view of that area. And one more photo of that. Oh, sorry, last photo. So that is the existing conditions. So we have put together a very robust planting plan. I will stop sharing mine. And Phil, can you share yours once again, please?
So Debbie, do you have a plan of the planting plan?
I do. I just have to locate it.
Oh, okay.
I will do that. Thank you. So this, I'll go over the species that we've chosen for the 3 restoration areas. So along the left-hand side, the vernal pool area, we have gone with some serviceberry, winterberry holly, inkberry, witch hazel, beech hazelnut, and then we're having 8 trees in that area, including river birch and eastern redbud. Similar plantings in restoration area number 2. You can go down a little bit, Phil, please. Yeah, similar plantings in restoration area 2, restoration area 3, which is that slope in front of the house. We went with different plantings. We thought that sweet fern and low bush blueberry would do well in that area, along with black huckleberry and some Virginia rose. And then we would fill in between the shrubs with ground cover. So in that area, we thought hay scented fern, Pennsylvania sedge, purple coneflower, and black-eyed Susans would make that a nice area. Okay, you can stop sharing that. All right, I'm going to try to pull up my plan. My apologies. I just came in from another meeting that I was on site, so I didn't know that I was going to be up so soon, but I will be with you in just a second.
So while Debbie's looking at that, I just wanted to remind the commission that the original reason for the enforcement order and NOI was to evaluate the tree removals. They did do the tree removal analysis, and in all areas, the number of tree removals was less than 50%. So
Right.
we're not requiring tree replacements for what was removed, but the work around the buffers that we're now looking at, area 1, 2, and 3, there were some additional removals. So that's the focus of the restoration at this point. The other thing, Debbie was talking about Japanese knotweed in area 1. They are going to try to attack that.
Can you see my plan at
Yep,
this point?
congratulations. Yep.
Oh my God. Thank God. Okay.
Well, let's have, I just want to have Janet finish her thought
Oh, I'm
on that.
sorry. Go right ahead.
So they have committed to removing the Japanese knotweed in area 1 by hand or mechanical. And the hope is that with the plantings, the new native plantings in those area, that they will outcompete. I did talk to Debbie briefly about looking at a more extensive invasive management and removal plan. But her feedback from her client was that was not something, since the house is on the market now, that's not something they wanted to commit to, but that they would inform and educate the new owner about the invasives on the property. And hopefully that education will, I'm not sure if there'll be any action on that, but they'll be at least aware of it.
Right.
And Deb, if you had, prior to your arriving this
So as you
evening,
can
somebody,
see on the
we'd had, I'm just curious, Deb, on the knotweed. Your experience with that in terms of success, the multiple ways of addressing it.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, it's usually a several year project, and you need to keep up with it. And usually in the fall is the best time before it flowers to attempt to remove it. And that is a sensitive area, so it would be by mechanical or by hand pulling. So, it will take some time. But with the plantings, it should be, less disturbed. So hopefully we wouldn't have that come in.
Okay, why don't you proceed now that you have your plan up?
Sure. So over here on the left-hand side is restoration area number 1, which is approximately 3,800 square feet in size. Then we have on the other side, restoration area 2, which is 1,860 square feet. And in front is restoration area number 3, which is around 4,600 square feet. I know when we did our site visit that there was a basketball court kind of down in this area, which has since been removed and sodded, so that's no longer located there. So we also have on the plan what the proposed plantings are. I did meet on site with Phil and their landscaper to kind of go over what we're looking at, and once the plants are purchased, I know Janet that you want to meet out on site as well. But I would be on hand to help place the plantings, and they would be watered regularly for the summer to make sure that they're doing well.
And Janet, you've had a chance to review the planting plan relative to these 3 sites. I know you had a question about a rhododendron, whether it was native or not. There any other, was there a resolution there and any other concerns about the planting plan?
I think that was on Vadran's site,
Yeah.
the rhododendron.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No,
Yeah, no, I have reviewed the plan. I think the density and the species all seem appropriate. I had mentioned to Deb that especially in some of the larger areas, whether it would make sense to remove the existing mulch and try to put in some wetland conservation mix. Heard feedback, and I think it's right that that could do potentially more, that could have a more negative impact since there's quite a slope. And unless that was really done very carefully, that could, really have some erosion issues into the vernal pool. So,
Mhm.
so the mulch is staying, the plantings will go in. And I've included sort of our special regular conditions, including signage, which I think will be very important, as well as our standard restoration plan special conditions that I think are all consistent with what Deb has proposed.
Okay. And Deb, did you have a chance to review the Janet's proposed conditions?
yes, I did.
Okay. And also just for commissioners, I thought the arborist who was involved in this made a good point that that was verified in the field, that this is not your standard wood bark mulch. This was really shredded. So it's probably going to compost out before the end of the summer. If not, maybe early fall. It's going to break down pretty quickly. Is there any potential, Deb, for actually broadcasting a conservation seed mix onto that mulch? Do
I
you think it would
don't
take,
think
or-
it would take,
Mhm.
and, speaking with the landscaper when we were on site, he had the same
Mhm.
opinion.
But I don't see it being, the concern we have with normal bark mulch is the suffocation of things underneath that, and this does not, it's not the same.
No,
So,
that's
commissioners,
true.
any question?
It is
Any
a different
questions?
material.
Commissioners, any questions concerning this?
No.
Okay, and so Janet, do you think they've supplied everything that you need to close the hearing and issue a order conditions?
Yes.
Okay, then given that, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Thank you. All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
I need a
Sarah?
second. I'm seconding, but yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
second
okay.
and I.
And I.
Okay, and Amy?
Hi.
Anna? I don't, yeah, Deb, can you take your, can you stop
Oh,
sharing,
I'm
please?
sorry. Sure.
So that way I get to see everyone's face. I don't know if Amy was silenced. I mean, Anna was silenced. Did you, was that an aye?
Yep, that was
Oh,
nice.
there we go. And I'm an aye. Okay, and then entertain a motion to grant the order of conditions.
Sure. Move to issue an order of conditions with the special conditions outlined in the agent's report.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Anna?
Aye.
Amy?
Hi.
Sarah?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, doke. Great. And congratulations, Phil. And Debbie. Let's see, then moving on to 29 Saddle Ridge Road.
Oh, boy.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay,
That's me again.
yep. So Paul, why'd you fill us in on where things are?
So the things have changed out there. The owner has put in some paving. I'm not sure what you'd call them, but blocks around the perimeter of the pool, the ponding area. I'll say keep it
Mhm.
general.
Mhm.
And
These are 12 by 12 landscape stepstones, basically.
Stepstones, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And a lot of crushed stone around the perimeter. with that as a backdrop, Deb has proposed some plantings in there. It is the proposal that's before you from Deb is certainly an enhancement to the habitat value and wetland function of the area. It is given the stepping stones and the stone. It is not what I would call going to be a naturalized condition. It's as I said, it's a step in that direction. It's not a naturalized condition. And I think this is a situation where the commission needs to decide essentially if you, given all the history and circumstances, if you think this is a sufficient, I'll call it a compromise, relative to a full renaturalization of the situation. So I would suggest that Deb show her report. Deb, your report has the photos, does it not?
I know that I emailed you a photo.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking.
A photo? So is it a
Yeah,
photo
I just had
as,
the planting plan, which
Um,
I have available.
oh, so you don't have the photo? So there was a photo of that would show the
That was, I
stepstones?
sent the photo to Paul to give him an idea of what it was looking like now, based on what his suggestions were.
Yeah, I have that here. Would you like me to share, John?
Yes, please. Yeah.
So I hadn't been to the site for some time, either. So I was somewhat surprised when I went to the site as well.
I'm not, is someone else? sharing?
No one's sharing, but let me see if
Oh, there we go. It just, the option
okay.
just stood up.
Okay. Let's see. So Paul, you're muted, Paul? Or did I mute you? Let me nope. No.
Is that any better?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I can hear you, but now I'm let's see, I need to get I'm not seeing I must have hit something where I'm seeing everyone else except for okay.
Now we're seeing the email.
Right, an email
I
with
can
the
see
photo.
the photo though. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that
this is,
gives you an idea. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
yeah, this is the photo that Deb shared with me in an email a few days ago. So the house in this photo, the house is to the right. So as I said, it's certainly not a naturalized condition. What Deb proposes is is to put in some native plantings around here, but it's it's certainly raises the question to me about whether this is a condition that would keep small children out of here. I don't see how it would, but
This looks like it's inviting small children to come take a
Right.
dip. Like it looks like they built a gravel beach and
Yeah.
I did
Like-
speak to Vadran about that, and he said that his children understand that once they step off the grass, it's kind of a lava situation. So he insists that they don't leave the lawn area.
So it's, Remind me, is this the house where the family didn't want like they were concerned about their children going into
Yeah.
this?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Sorry.
So
Trying to keep
the
everything
So,
clear.
so Deb, last time I spoke to Vadran, he was talking about requesting permission to put a fence up because he was so concerned about one particular boy, who doesn't seem to listen, but also doesn't want
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to swim. Is a fence part of this proposal?
No. Nope.
And see the plants that are in the stone that on Paul's picture there? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he had told me he was anticipating putting many more plants, shrubs along that side of things, potentially as a barrier. Is that proposed?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
And the uh, it's interesting. So at issue here was this is something that this is technically, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, it's an ILSF, it's not a BVW, is that correct?
Right. This is
Right.
not this is not a BVW. Um, my opinion was that it's under state regs. It's too small to be a jurisdictional isolated land subject to flooding. However, under your local regs, the threshold, the volume threshold for ILSF is smaller. And in my view, it met that lower threshold under your bylaw for ILSF. Also, the bylaw regulates vernal pools as their own resource area, and so we went out. We found I found some evidence of vernal pool amphibians using it. I did not find sufficient evidence that would certify it under the state criteria. Your criteria are as I recall, a little more ambiguous. Um, so you'll recall there was a lot of discussion. There was, topography and modeling and consideration of groundwater, and a lot of discussion about the ILSF threshold because it's a numerical threshold, based upon an annual maximum ponding. Um, and the owner has maintained throughout that it did not meet uh, the requisite volume. My opinion is that it did under the bylaw. The commission, when we last dealt with this, the commission's intent, as I understood it, was really to say, okay, well, let's put the jurisdictional nuance aside and talk about, what do you want to do here, and is there a plan? Is there a plan that could be implemented to kind of protect the area? It clearly provides, a certain amount of wetland function, regardless of, whether it crosses a jurisdictional threshold. And that's really the way it was left, is that the owner was going to come back and propose something with the hope that the commission could then say, okay, this is sufficient and sufficiently protective, and we don't need to stress over the jurisdictional bright lines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The uh So, and this is in essence something that was in the middle of a pine forest. So it's an artificial pond that has a layer of clay on the bottom, and we're right at as Paul mentioned, we're at the thresholds even for our bylaw. It did. We saw our bylaw says that if you see it flood and meet certain thresholds, which already had staked out and it's surpassed. It actually surpassed that twice in a matter of 3 months. So there was no question that it had enough volume in there. Um, the Interesting enough, what I noticed on the far side of the photo there, you can see that the stone that he put around actually dug down around a foot. You can see the top of bank with the pine needles on it in the background there. One could actually say he increased the flood storage capacity of that if we're reaching for things for that. There had been grass, not quite as lush, that had gone down to the previous one. I was able to pull that up in a listing photo from when the house was originally listed. And at the end of the day, he is. Oh, there was also, Paul, one of the things I don't know if I'd mentioned to you. So we got a picture from Goddard of showing a catfish that would seem to rebut the vernal pool component of things. And if I recall, Goddard was saying that the amphibians you saw weren't the correct amphibians or whatnot, but there clearly, are frogs there. The catfish, the story goes, is that the previous owner had it as a fish pond, and I originally was a little skeptical until I read that catfish can basically bury themselves into the mud and stay there for up to a year and still survive. So I think that that catfish may have actually been original to the pond as much as that pond can be viewed as original. So I think there's no concerns about that being a vernal pool. In my mind, I think all those things combined, as far as I know, the catfish is still there. The issue really is he's manicured this more than we would have preferred, but at the same time, we're dealing with a bylaw situation where his initial concern was he wanted to fill it in, and this is being maintained, and the question is whether how draconian do we need to be for the letter of our bylaw versus still maintaining a resource area there. The only concern not only, but one of the concerns would be to make sure in order to keep it as such that he is not heavily fertilizing his sod lawn there. Paul, can you take the photo down so Deb can share her plan?
Sure.
And I just had a quick question. So is there a 100-foot buffer zone to this?
For an ILSF?
Under the bylaw, yes.
Okay.
So
Are
that
we
was the
sure
issue.
that the gravel doesn't go, that he didn't like fill in part of the pond with
I did not
gravel?
see, no, I didn't see that. Actually,
I didn't
I was
either.
out on the site.
I was just asking because you
Yeah.
can't tell from the picture.
Yeah, no, it's when I was out there, it was basically it was put in to cover all the muddy areas that had been disturbed, but did not make the pond any smaller.
No,
So,
I'm talking about the depth of the pond.
well, no, but also it did not it didn't go down.
The gravel didn't go into the pond.
Exactly. It went down to the edge of water, and then the pond itself stayed the same. And he had
Okay.
voiced the concern to me that the pond depth was still the same, and that the change that I'm hearing now is that kind of what we may have anticipated was that as the children get used to it and rules are set, that they seem to feel more secure that they're not going to go into the middle of the pond. That's and I'm surprised, given the last time I spoke, a fence was definitely in the equation, but now he has this buffer zone, and that's certainly better for us, I think, than having a fence around it. Deb, do you have anything else you want to? So this is the plan, which is the takeoff from Artie's plan that showed how it qualified, basically,
Right.
if the water had extended beyond what it's shown in the dark line there, which it did because there's a benchmark on the upper right.
Correct.
And
Yeah, so this was the extent.
yeah, so we
Okay.
showed we showed photos where the water extended much closer to the benchmark and extended beyond those stakes, which also meant it went up in elevation. And so that's what this helped determine that it was applicable under the bylaw for ILSF. Okay, so why don't you take us through, Deb, in terms of the plantings there?
Sure. So he had put some plantings in. So I was kind of, that's where the rhododendron came from, 'cause I had installed those already.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are proposing 5 trees, 1 red maple, 2 eastern redbud, and 2 river birch. So the red maples going in this area here, and then we have 1, let's see, 1 redbud in that area. Am I missing one, Paul? That might be
It's-
the one that you pointed out that I was missing.
Yeah, I thought you were shy on one and one extra on something else.
Okay,
on the
you
list.
could be right. Yes, you're right. Okay, so I'm sorry. So there should be 2 red bud in that area. So the C here should be a B.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 2 river birch over in this area. The shrubs, so we have 9-bark, winterberry, and high bush blueberry. I did touch base with him, and he has purchased the red maple, the 9-bark, and the winterberry, and he will be installing those, and I will be getting pictures once those are installed. He mentioned that the cost, that he couldn't do it all at once, but would be getting the rest of the plantings by the fall to install those.
What size specimens, Deb, do you know?
I did get a photo from him. The shrubs look like they're probably 1 gallon, and the maple is probably about a 6-foot sapling.
And so given that they're pretty small, I guess the question I would have is whether or not we should up the quantity, or or even as is, is this a suitable quantity? What's your thought, Paul?
Well, as I said, these are, these are an enhancement relative to, wetland functions and habitat value. But, based on those sizes, it's, it is not going to fill in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
So see, it maintains it's a cost issue. However, you just soldered everything, put an irrigation system in, and laid down a bunch of pavers there. So it would seem to me, at the very least, there should be an enhanced quantity if he's just going with small containers. Does that seem reasonable, Paul?
I think so. I mean, I can tell you that 1 gallon, 1 gallon wetland shrubs from New England wetland plants run about $12 or $15 a piece.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are typically not very big specimens, but 3 foot tall 1 gallon shrubs are in that price range.
Okay. And Deb,
I don't really
this
give
is
him anything because he hasn't eaten anything.
this Deb, this is going to leave a lot of open ground around there. What's the proposal for are we looking at a conservation mix, or what are we looking at to stabilize the ground between these shrubs?
I think that he has mulched those areas
Okay.
where the plantings are proposed.
So in order for this to really succeed and fulfill at least what it's supposed to do, Paul, my sense on this would be that some of the mulch should be removed and replaced with a conservation mix, and that the quantity of these the small plants should be increased. Does that seem?
That would certainly be a step forward. I guess my concern when you say some of the mulch removed, you're going to have a real you're gonna have a real sharp demarcation. If you rake back, mulch over, a certain area and not over the adjacent area, and then seed the open area, you'll get some herbaceous growth, and then immediately adjacent to that will be nothing. I mean, that's why people put down mulch to keep out the herbaceous growth, and it works well.
Well, that is, so the mulch actually enhances the ability to prevent invasives. Is that what I'm hearing a bit?
Among other things, yes.
Yeah. Okay. And part of this was what we're really looking at is something that's ornamental and not part of a continuous ecosystem. I'm willing to be a little bit more flexible, but I do think it's a little light on the plants. Commissioners, any thoughts?
No, I mean, I agree. I think it's light on the plants.
Yeah.
And this is, without trying to sound like Jim, but this has been going on for a while. I just feel like,
Well, and
are we gonna eventually find him? Like, I mean, if this has been going on and we've been, I think, fair as a commission of telling him what we wanted, and he just keeps pushing the limits.
Also, this is
Well,
a
I think-
bunch of stone we were clear we didn't want. And I know we can't necessarily remove all of it, but I do think,
well,
yeah, we definitely need to start with more plants.
Right.
well, he's either going to get these plants or he's going to get weeds in between his stones. I can guarantee that those stones will not stay looking like that, especially
it's
with the
not-
grass so close.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he put any fabric under that. Did you happen to see whether he did, Deb? Did you see any indication?
Well, if he
of that?
did that, then he's not going to get these plants in.
No, I
No,
don't
no,
know
no,
if he
he-
did.
And the fabric
Well,
will
Well,
only
the
last so
plants
long,
aren't
too.
going where the gravel
Stone,
is,
yeah.
where the
plants
stone
are
is.
outside
It's
of that.
going outside of that
Well,
area.
except you were showing one of the plants inside the.
Oh, well, there was some, he had
There
planted
was just
some
one
boxwoods.
random plant there, right?
Yeah.
I don't
he had
think the
planted-
one plant should
Well, there were
say
a
much
few
one way or the
around
other
the
about the
edge.
plan.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are
No,
just
I
kind
just
of
think the gravel is going to be, well, he'll
estimated
learn how
areas based on
fast
what I
it
had for a site
isn't.
plan to work with.
I think so part of this is we're picking our battles here. This thing has gone on forever. It's not it's a man-made item. It's not state it doesn't come under state regulations. He's certainly gotten much more that he wants, but I frankly I don't think it's worth our time to get hung up on that. I think, however, it's a low cost to bear, especially given the cost he's already sunk into this. Deb, on the fly, I mean, this is so light on plants. It would seem to me, at the very least, you would want to triple the number of shrubs that we have here. Does that seem or is that even enough, Paul? What do you think?
Well, I'm just looking at this trying to remember the sense of scale. I mean, that would begin to fill it in and make it more look like a natural community rather than separate little discrete patches. And I understand why Deb's putting them in clumps. That makes sense.
But I think it would help him as well, because it would prevent additional plantings, would prevent weeds from coming up. Is the thought and create a better environment for wildlife and stuff. But given the size of this, tripling that with 1 gallon containers, I almost think it would need 4, quadruple at least to make it thrive, and so little systems there.
Yeah, I mean, Deb's got,
Alternatively, just bigger
the
plants.
winterberry will get larger.
Mhm.
Some of these, as they grow in, will take up more
Well,
space.
I think it will end up being a race between invasives versus if you put in this number of just this number period, I think the invasives will prevail. Whereas if you triple or quadruple this, you'll have a chance at holding them a little bit more at bay because they'll be so small. And
What about
really,
increasing the size?
Well,
Like,
I know because he still has some plants to purchase that he hasn't purchased yet that we could require a larger size.
it might be
yeah,
cheaper in the end to do like double the size on the plants, but not quadruple the count. And I mean, that might give it a better chance of succeeding too.
these plants are running in 1-gallon containers at $12. So he's going to go from 200 to 800 as opposed to spending, $50 for the larger plant. I- you know, I, I'm fine with mixing it up a bit, increasing plants and requiring a couple larger plants to be put in place. Does that, is that a reasonable compromise, do you think, Paul?
Sure. The
And-
trick is getting the larger plants as native species and cultivars.
Well, given what he's outlined for, I'm not sure about the 9-bark, but the winterberry, the blueberry, you mentioned something, Deb, that I don't even think is there. Oh, no, the winterberry, yeah, it will be there. I think those, 2 and 3 foot winterberries are still available, aren't they? It seemed to be what they're, isn't that what they're proposing over at 14 Rural? Was 3
Yeah,
foot
2
winterberries?
and 3 foot ones, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got the sense, I mean, as Deb noted, the winterberry can be very big,
Mm-hmm.
and it's my sense is that's what Anna was looking for or contemplating.
Yeah, I'm just guessing it might be easier to have this succeed. We don't have to check for a million years. And it may end up being cheaper if you just start with larger plants rather than more smaller ones, or wait till the fall, but I don't want to do that. So
Well, did you have
just an idea.
did you have a 6-foot winter plant in mind, or were you thinking 3-footers, or what was your thought for larger
I was
plants?
thinking instead of doing 4 2-footers, like 2 to 3 3-footers might work out better. It's just a guess.
4 2-footers to
No,
'cause I
just
think
instead of having like 4 small plants, 3
Mhm.
larger plants might work out to be cheaper and more successful, but I don't really know. Depends on the plant. I don't have a
still
lot
think
of specifics here.
yeah, I think it's still a little lighter on the uh on the overall net plants. So Debbie, you've been interacting with them, but I'm sorry for less than $1,000 worth of planting. It doesn't look like it's really going to help them, fulfill the function there. And if we're going to allow him to do things that are in gross violation, the very least he should be upping the plants. And I would leave that up to you in terms of the appropriate density. Well, and also with the input from Paul. 1-gallon plants are just tiny plants for they're not going to, survivability is a concern. There's not going to be, and you have to wait several years for things. It would seem that there's a little protection in numbers if you're going to go with small plants or mix it up and have additional small plants as well as a few extra large plants. So is that something that you can come up with, Debbie?
I can definitely come up with it. I think you probably know at this point that there will be a certain level of pushback on this. I think
Yeah.
getting
But then, I mean, again, I don't mean to repeat myself,
to
but
this point
point-
was
at
was a
this
lot.
Go ahead, Sarah.
No, at this point, I think we've been dealing with this landowner for so long. I think we as a commission need to push back as well and say, there's fees involved.
Is what involved?
There's fees involved. Like he's pushed back against us for so long. I think that we have every right to say that he needs to pay us some amount of money that we come up with.
Well, I don't think we have the statutory ability to do that after the fact. We didn't assign fines on the front end, but we certainly have the ability to help him, even though it's at his cost, but relative to expenses to date, it's very minimal, is to have a planting plan that functions. And that having him push back on that planting plan, then we can go ahead and fine. And 2 days worth of fines will blow through whatever that extra planting is that we're looking for. So we're, you know, he's clearly in violation. He sunk a lot of money in with somebody who told him that he wasn't, but you know, that was not correct. And we're so close to the end here, and the end here says better a denser planting plan. And that's it. We're, you know, that seems to be a fair thing, a reasonable thing. I mean, this is we're being an example of reasonableness here, and you just can't. He's just going to have a bunch of dead small plants there.
Well, and it's also, and it's obvious, he's not respecting our time and our, you know, what we do as a commission, which is really what's aggravating the most.
So, well, and I understand that, and I have to weigh that personal aggravation against making this function properly and having it function properly the sooner the better, as opposed to extending this out. So I would, Deb, I'm thinking, you know, on the plants that you're proposing at 1 foot plant, you know, 1 gallon plants, it won't cost them $500 extra to do that. So given everything else that he's done there, you know, that's just plain, that's not worth arguing. That's the thing. We need a denser planting plan. If he doesn't like it, we will start to impose fines based on what our original verbiage was. It's just not worth it. It's just and so and he's getting away with tons. But I also can see the fact that this was a man-made object. The thresholds were close. I'm fine with. I can see all that. That's why we're not being sticklers here. But this is not a very useful planting plan for even for his enjoyment. I think he needs more to fill in those areas. So, and it's not a significant cost.
Okay, I will talk with him.
Do any commissioners disagree with that?
No.
John, I'm going to ask a question kind of for the record.
Yeah.
Does the commission consider the recent work with the stone and the patio blocks? Do you consider that to be a violation?
I do.
I do.
Yeah,
I mean, if
it
this
is.
had come fresh, we'd say no. You're filling in right around the isolated land subject to flooding. It's like that in of itself would be a problem.
Yeah, the only way I could, as I mentioned earlier, the only way I could even rationalize that is that he basically increased his flooding capacity. You know, the threshold there. But no, there's no question. You know, what he was supposed to do in the beginning was take the muddy sides, smooth them out, and replant things. He's gone way beyond that. He's expanded in essence, he expanded his pond, even though he originally wanted to get rid of it. It is a violation, but I think at this point, in order to close this out, we would allow it to stay with an enhanced planting plan.
So the fact that it's a man-made, it was man-made to begin with. It has a clay bottom and
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. It's
I mean, I have several of those ponds behind me. They're clay-based. If I went to do anything at this point, I would get crucified. because they're well established. His at least had grass around them and so forth. But one of the questions, I don't know, it's still holding water with all this work that was done on it. So I really don't know what the situation is there. But it just seems, yeah, well, if he, he comes back with a denser planting plan, we
guess-
don't like this. We don't like this, but we can wrap it up. But what's your sense, Paul, on
Well, the reason I bring up the question, put it on the table, is that he clearly, the commission made your determination about the jurisdiction. There was a lot back and forth. He never agreed with it, but the commission made your determination that there was jurisdiction. He went and did this work anyway. I fully expect from what I've seen that when Deb goes back to this, he's going to pound his fist on the table and say, "No, I'm not doing it." I think why does the commission think they can make me do this? I'm trying to answer that last question up front. And what if I don't? And frankly, trying to incentivize him to take this compromise. And instead of the 20 plants, to put in another 40 or 60, if we're on the shrubs, if we're, tripling or quadrupling.
Or as Anna said, using a reasonable thought process, scale back some of those of that 40 or 60 and scale back and put in some larger shrubs, interspersed.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's also why, Paul, I brought up the idea of fines, because he doesn't understand when we say no.
So Sarah, the concern I have there is that we're so close to the end here. I don't think he should not have an issue. And if I have to speak to him again about this, this is a compromise that is vastly in his favor.
Okay.
I'm
not a fine person, but I'm just trying, this has been on our docket for 3 or 4 years,
no question.
And so I'm just like, let's just move this, can't we get it across the finish line?
And I think that's in with the point, Deb, that having more plants, a combination of either quantity or quality, that gives him a decent plant environment there, behooves is better for him as well, and we'll keep back invasives. And this is a dramatic compromise. And I'm perfectly fine that for the record, the stone border is an additional violation. And we're not pleased, but we are willing to compromise to move this forward and salvage this with a better planting plan. And that should be the end of it. If he does not agree with that, then we can look at enforcement. Enforcement will cost the town some dollars. It will cost him a lot of dollars. It's over an ILSF. I think let's redo the planting plan, and if necessary, I will speak with him directly if he voices concerns there. Does that seem like a plan, Deb?
Yes. So as I mentioned, he told me with the cost that he was going to be looking at the end of summer to purchase the rest of the plants. So as far as your timeline on
I
this,
would recommend that he get the smaller plants as soon as he can, because it's not that big of a cost. Let me just, Janet, you have your hand up?
Yes, I also mentioned before as we move on that Lori had written a note on this for the meeting that there are a number of outstanding unpaid bills for Paul's third-party review.
Can you, yeah, you're fading again. Can you a little closer?
Lori had indicated that the homeowner had not paid what was due to Paul for his past review. So there's
Mhm.
a balance in terms of what is owed for the third-party review. So I don't know how we want to handle that.
I would incorporate this. Is this going to be handled as a finalization of the enforcement order, or we're not handling this as an NOI or anything like that? Is that correct? But it's not, because it's ILSF, so
No, there's no filing. This is all informal under the
enforcement.
enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then,
Once you've approved the plan, that would be included in an amended enforcement.
yeah, that would, so duly noted. So that, if payment is an issue, we can work with him for a payment plan. But at the same time, we may need to, that's not fair to Paul. So the question is, we'll bring this up with town administration of what our options are here. And as Paul should be.
Just to be clear, I may very well have been, my bill may very well have been paid, but so the money might be owed more to the town than to me. I'm not sure.
What I think, because I think when the money comes in, it goes into an escrow, and then you get paid when you bill, Lori. So, and so I think her notes were something to the effect that the last bill that you had done, I don't know if you had been paid on that or not. So,
Yeah. I don't know either, frankly.
Okay, so we'll clarify that in the time between this and the next meeting. Debbie, why don't you do that and let Vadran know that he can call me if he has questions. But I would like
If
to
he wants
see
to, okay.
a better planting plan, and that we're so close. That's all we're looking for, is
Okay.
a better planting plan, and we will determine. We'll find out what the status is of these payments due, and we'll have an invoice for him. And if that's an issue, he can call me about that as well. Okay.
Okay.
Commissioners, any other concerns about this, or is this something that if we follow along that line that we can wrap this up?
Yeah, it'd be really nice to make it go away.
Yep, and I'm sure he feels the same way. So, and with, our function is to help people come up with the correct plans for things to succeed. So that's how I'm viewing this. Okay, Debbie, then yeah, if you can just send us an email if you want to, or we'll put you on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
Do you think that'd be okay?
And
And if you can
Yeah.
send us, if you can just send us
Fair.
if you can send us a proposed, revised plan, planting plan, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Finally, welcome, Zega. The
Lively meeting.
there you go. Well, it was we're banging through things. I don't think I can recall where we ever had to wait for somebody to arrive for a time slot because we had finished things off so quickly. And yet this is an example of why we want something like this to wrap up, because it takes, we handled some much more complex things much more quickly earlier. But at the same time, we want to be fair to the homeowner as
Yeah.
well as ourselves. So I'm sure you don't. I don't know if you get quite that sort of feedback with. Were you on the warrant committee or
I'm on the
assessors?
Dover Town Report Committee, so
okay.
we mostly are, are waiting for people to submit their reports so we can edit them and dot their I's and whatnot. So
So this is a little bit more back and forth there.
yeah,
Let me just Paul, is there anything else on tonight's agenda that you were going to discuss?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, because I didn't want to have you. I mean, you're more than welcome to sit in, but I didn't know if so Zager is a prospective commission member, and so we're getting reintroduced, and and we appreciate her, having sat through a full meeting there. But if,
Oh,
and
John,
Janet, go
I
ahead.
had a quick question for Paul. So
Yeah.
our other enforcement matter at 90 Claybrook is one that Paul is reviewing. And I'm wondering, Paul, have you received any information? Again, that's an outstanding enforcement order. We're expecting an existing conditions, a delineation. Once that's reviewed, then we'd look at restoration.
Right. I have received those materials from Artie. Wetlands were flagged by Beta, and I'm scheduled to go out there and take a look at it.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I don't, at the next meeting, which is, I want to say the 9th or so, if that's right, thereabouts. I will be away on vacation. I don't expect to have a report for you at that meeting, but I will for the subsequent one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at, looks like
The
the 9th.
9th is, yeah, the 9th is the next one.
Yep. I think that's fine. That's an enforcement order, and the by all appearances, the homeowner is actively participating.
They are, and that was part of the scheduling issue. Is they really wanted to be there when I was there, but they're away, and then I'm going to be away. So I agree with Artie that he wanted to just get me out there and get things excuse me, get things moving. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Janet. Anything else for Paul?
No, I think that was it. Paul, we do have the Red Robin project is going to be coming in for a certificate of compliance. Tetra Tech is looking at the stormwater. I'm not sure if they're looking at the wetland issues. They're pretty straightforward, but we may need to bring you in on that COC.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, from my perspective, if the stormwater is good, I think they did a pretty good job of containing the site. So I'd just be interested in looking down, at that slope that leads down to the wetland, that pool area. That would be my focus in that regard.
Okay, great. Okay, then thank you much for your input, and have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.
Cool.
So sorry about that, Zig. We just wanted to, we didn't want to keep Paul here any longer than he needs to be. Although he no longer has the long commute that he used to have when we had in-person meetings. So did you sit in on a previous meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, a few months
so,
ago
yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah.
sort of get a feel for things.
Oh, as a matter of fact, that was the one I wasn't at, I believe. That was Pine Street, 88 Pine was at issue. Whether something was an intermittent or a perennial stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry I missed that. So well, I'm glad it didn't scare you away. And so any thoughts so far? This is something you could
I'm
pursue,
still
or-
interested. I'm still
Okay.
interested.
Good.
There's obviously a lot of like terminology and ins and outs and subtleties, and I thought like this meeting was a good, collection of examples of different things that the commission deals with, and how some things are straightforward and then some things are not, and you're always trying to work with the homeowners, and you're not interested in bringing the hammer of judgment down. So I like that.
Sometimes
matter-
we are.
No matter how badly we feel.
Well, and one thing that's really nice is that we do have the support. I mean, there's a kind of universal Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commission. So they're kind of our umbrella. And so
Yeah.
you start taking, Anna, I think you're still in the process, but we've all done kind of the seminars. And Paul, for example, is when you go to one of the lectures, he's the lecturer. So it didn't take us that long. I think I can't remember, like 3 years to become a conservation a confirmed Massachusetts Conservation Commissioner, but so there are resources outside of us. So to
Yeah.
speak.
And the commission reimburses for training, and also it takes 3 years, not because it's so wildly difficult. It's more just the classes aren't that often and
Right.
Mhm.
whatever.
And they usually take place over down in Worcester at Holy Cross.
Okay.
But it's also a nice way to meet other commissioners and just,
Yeah.
meet other geeks
Yeah.
like us.
And it also, I remember when I first started, and I actually, as a developer, I'd been in front of conservation commissions for decades. But when just started here, it was actually, we do a much better job than when I started, which when I started, there was no previous emailing of things. We didn't have somebody giving a written regulatory report. So you just were, it was kind of dumped on you when you arrived at a meeting.
Oh, wow.
And yeah,
Oh, no.
and there was, and you had to sort of figure out what was going on. So now the prep that we have prior to meetings is much better, I think. But it also, which makes it that much easier to get an idea of what the issues are at hand. And then review. There's so much. Well, when Tim and I first started, there were no online anythings. There wasn't much of an online, and so now there's many more resources, and even the oh, Janet, help me out. Isn't there a handbook, a DEP handbook to wetlands that you've incorporated in a few of your some of the drawings in your monthly newsletters?
Yes, so there are a lot of online resources that are really helpful, so we're not reinventing too much. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And there are no exams, so it's just it's fascinating to see how once you start laying a base down, how everything is related.
Yeah.
And,
But
so and then
Just like the natural world.
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
But what's
absolutely.
been really nice is like, we're so lucky that we've got someone like John and Tim and Amy and Janet, like we've got institutional knowledge. I mean, Janet comes from Wellesley, but we've got Amy, John, and Tim who've been on the commission for so long. They kind of know
Yeah.
how Dover's changed too.
Yeah.
When I
has.
started, there literally was no internet.
Yeah, no, that's it. I was trying to say that politely.
So it
But,
goes back and forth. It goes back and forth between Tim and John being chairs, is what
okay. Oh, so it must be Tim's turn then.
Oh, no.
'Cause I think I've been chair for 10 years. So we're so that's a goal.
Nine, because I think who was chair when I first was?
Was it Horace?
Kate, was it Kate?
It was Kate.
Oh,
And
okay.
Yeah.
then Kate stepped down and then you became chair.
So we're looking to, to create that circle of life basically and do the same with the chair position. So, maybe let's see, we're 20, so maybe in 2030, it's something you can look forward to.
Great.
And,
we used to rotate it every 2 or 3 years.
Which I am perfectly in favor of. So I cannot emphasize that enough. And next time somebody feels that the meeting's gone on too long, they can absolutely step up.
Actually, John, you've done a very good job. You've been
The
great in the last like 6 months. You've really been great.
Only the last 6 months?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There was a time where I was like, come on, John, like we were going into.
Well, we also had a couple
terrible
things in front of us that were yeah. So anyway, what we did do is we avoided lawsuits, which take up much more time. So and then Amy basically chairs every other committee that deals with wildlife in town. So she's doesn't we don't see her coming up as chair anytime soon. But so if you haven't been scared away after these meetings, I don't know. I think we have a position open. if you would, I don't know if we have any, how formal we are in terms of onboarding. Is anybody, let me move
No,
to,
we really have never done it.
speaking of
I
institutional
think
members.
You don't have to do
what-
anything with the selectmen or.
Oh, no, we do. We'll do that. And
Just
we'll,
need to
you know, and
Just
so
need to put her
we,
name forward to the.
Yeah.
so, well, I think, so what we can do is if you would like to join us, because we are a fun group of people,
Obviously.
we can vote this evening to recommend you to the selectmen.
Do you guys have any other questions for me?
We noticed that you're breathing,
Yes.
and
Do you
I'm
like
sure you have a
reading
pulse.
building plans?
Yes, I think that stuff is fun. I'm one of those people who likes to just look at maps for fun, and yeah.
Great, this is fine.
Yeah, no, so, and I can help you out with, building plans. There's not that much to it. And, no, everyone has has their own expertise and is perfectly willing to share. But I would, entertain a motion, to recommend, Zega to, the Board of Selectmen as a, new Conservation Commissioner.
Sure, so moved.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
Anna?
Bye.
Sarah?
aye.
Amy?
Hi.
And I am an I. And I actually did review your resume as well, and it looked
Okay.
lovely, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Congratulations and
And it
condolences.
shows an ability to
Thank you so much.
it shows an ability to research, which is
Yes,
always
yeah,
helpful.
I do
Amazing.
have that.
Yeah.
I have a
If
lot
you
of customer
want-
service skills.
Mhm. Oh,
That's great.
excellent. Anna?
If you want, I'm happy to. I'm sure other folks are too. We can set up a call or a walk or whatever and do a crash course on these are all the terms. I bothered Janet for that when I first started, and it was very helpful because there's a million abbreviations and they all sound the same.
Mhm.
But
I was
yeah, let me
scribbling
know.
notes earlier. I was like, I
Oh, I
gotta
mean-
Google these things.
I saw that, yeah.
Anna, I would be, you and I could mentor Zaga, that would be
Yeah.
great. Like we
That would
could
be great.
Well,
in
you
the
could,
comments and just, or whatever.
maybe you
Yeah.
could incorporate it into a walk by a wetland or something.
Yes, I
That's
would
a
love
great
that.
idea.
Yeah, and print out a plan from from a submission from somebody, or vernal pool plan that we did on 46 Springdale or
I was gonna
whatnot.
say 46 Springdale would be perfect. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So excellent. That'd be great.
Awesome.
Then welcome then. We'll
Yeah,
so
Thank you.
very much.
you hang out as provisional until we'll get the formality, and then
Sure.
you'll get a letter from the selectmen, and then there's a quick, although you may have already, have you ever taken the ethics course that the state requires? Maybe not for
Do you have to take it when you're doing the working in the polls and stuff like that? Because I've worked for Felicia doing elections and stuff, and I feel like I've done ethics stuff with that, but I don't know if that's
they
different.
may
It amounts
it's,
to don't be bribed, like 7,000 different ways. It's-
Yes,
Mhm.
that sounds
Right.
familiar.
Okay.
so no,
yeah.
Take
you don't start
$50
up your own
for the year.
Bitcoin
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
anything. The
And there
so-
is a test, but you get to answer any the questions as many times as you like.
Yeah,
Till you get it right.
very ethical.
It really is funny.
Right. You're right from the get-go. You have so. Okay. Well, why don't we finish things up for the rest of this evening, and you can get an idea of some of the things we have underway in town. Janet, why don't we move back to your agenda items, and starting with your consulting invoice.
Yes, so I
And-
sent that out on the 20th. That was for June, and that totaled $10,837.50.
Mhm.
It was a
and-
busier June than I had expected. So,
Yeah, it's I saw that, and it is what it is. In that particular case, we thought we were on a little downward trend and thought like the summer was going to be lovely. So it still may be. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the invoice,
So moved.
Second,
and thank you. All in favor? Tim,
Aye.
Anna,
Aye.
Sarah,
aye.
Amy,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Now, I'm assuming the next issue we have, and especially Lori will be filling us in when she returns from vacation, but we don't have any money for Janet. But we're trying to get the town to do its transfer that they did last year as well. And Janet, have you heard anything about that?
I have not. I think the warrant committee was meeting tonight.
Oh, okay.
So,
So what we did, Zago, was we have a contract with Janet, and yet because of the workload that we have for the last couple of years, we've exceeded that, and we are budgeted for that at the town meeting, and then we have made it clear to town management that that numbers will most likely be surpassed, and they then run it to the warrant committee to get a transfer from other funds in town so that we can pay Janet through the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. At that point, we start afresh and we have no concerns. So I think, Janet, reading between the lines, you have so you have not received April or May invoices while we wait for the warrant committee, is that right? Payments?
that's right. Yep,
Okay.
that's right.
So I will I'm due to go into town hall tomorrow and also early next week because we obviously need to I want to see where HR is relative to advertising for Lori's position, and I'll check in to see where the status is of that transfer.
So Zaga, I don't know if you know, but Lori, our paid Conservation Commission person.
Administrator, yeah.
Administrator is retiring. So that position is going to be open. Which is
Alright.
good.
So if you know somebody who has conservation experience and administrative experience, we're more than willing.
I'll
to-
let them know.
Yes, run out, and let's see. And then I see, Janet, the discussion relative to budget and backlog of unwritten commission minutes. You emailed that to concern about that to Lori?
Yes, I
Mhm.
didn't know with her, leaving fairly soon. I didn't know if there was like a plan for that, but I know some money was appropriated for the next fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
One of my concerns is one of the requirements for meeting minutes for us is that the documents that were discussed at each meeting have to be
Mhm.
listed in the minutes. And
Mhm.
that's not something Dale, our transcriber, would have access to. Only Lori has access.
I think Lori has, if I recall, my discussions with her, she has a list of documents per meeting actually written down.
Okay,
That Dale should be able to access. We'll find out from Lori how we access that.
okay.
Or if they're all combined, if she can print them all out. But that will be helpful. I'll also discuss with her and maybe town commission members. I think Janet, you'd sent a letter out relative to seeing if we could get somebody in before Lori leaves so that there could be some crossover between a new person and Lori.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure, we'll see if we can do so. Obviously, that's the preferred way. The other way would be whether she would be interested if we could include in any additional transfer of funds, helping somebody on an hourly, pay basis remotely on her end to bring somebody up to speed. I think it's probably something we should prophylactically look into.
Right, right. My only concern is I'm starting to get emails from people because on the door to the office, Lori's put me as the contact person.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, there have been some loose ends that Lori was going to take care of. So I'm getting calls on things that I have no idea.
Oh, okay, some paperwork things.
Yeah, so
So I'm not sure. I wrote it down instead of putting it on my phone in terms of when Lori is returning. from
On
vacation?
on the 7th, July
On the
7th.
7th. Okay, so as soon as she's back, we'll find out that stuff. I have to, I think we have one advertising thing coming up. I'll submission, and I will check with Felicia on that. And Lori was supposed to leave that for me in the office.
Okay.
For that's probably for the meeting of the 22nd. It's at 9:14.
I just know,
23rd.
when I worked in Wellesley, people do come and go, and
Yep.
we had very good luck finding temp folks.
Yes, that was part of, so that letter, was that written to all of us and Lori, or did you send that to somebody, HR or anything, or?
No, just to the commissioners, just to.
Okay, then I'll bring that up with Robin in HR. And so part of it is Lori was and all the time I've been on, so Lori was the second administrator that we've had. Right, Tim, we had Julie.
There was, I'm trying to remember. I think there was somebody before Julie,
Okay, so it
but
might have been.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. So I think my first submission was in 94. I think Julie was there, so it might be prior to that. So yeah, so we don't deal with turnover that often. So
No.
fortunately, so
The only other thing, John, I'll just sort of throw this out there, that I know Lori worked like 4 days a week, and she did not want to go full time,
right.
But now that we have an opening, I do think having a full-time administrator who could also do the minutes.
Oh, there's no question. I think part of the minutes, there was a very busy time where probably due to some of the subdivision submissions that put everybody behind for multiple boards. And so I've already spoken to Robin and then the assistant town manager about requesting a full-time administration person. And I did not get much pushback on that. And we made a very easy, reasonable case for that. So I would expect that to be what we'll be advertising this position for.
Great. And I know there's I think if there's an increase in salary that can go to that I think needs to go to town meeting, but we do have a September town meeting, a special.
Interesting enough, if I recall correctly, surprisingly, the increase in salary for a position like that, or actually may not require a town meeting vote. I'm not exactly, I have to look at the ins and outs there. I just remember there was a component of that surprised me, where it didn't require that. Okay, why don't we continue on to the agent's report?
So speaking of minutes, we do have on the agenda approval of our November 8th, 2023 meeting minutes, and it would.
And when did you send that out, or did you?
I sent those out again, over a week ago.
You've gotten these several times.
Yeah, I've probably sent them out 4 times. And it'd be awfully nice to approve those, and then Lori could get those up on the website, because we don't have anyone else to do that.
So did anyone have a chance to review those?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
I think I did a while ago.
Anybody have any questions about them?
Nope.
Okay, then I will, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of November 8th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Tim?
Aye.
Anna? Amy?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay. Okay, then moving on to the agent's report.
Okay, well, I see it's almost 10 o'clock, so I think I can
know.
do a lightning round here.
Yep.
Let's see, 6 Meadowbrook, I did talk to Dave Parrish. His COC request is in process, that is on the market, so it'd be good to get that wrapped up.
Mhm.
31 Springdale Ave, Lori indicated that Will Mitchell, the owner, has hired an engineer, but we don't have any plans yet. So
Mhm.
that is continuing.
Mhm.
I don't know what else we can do with that, really.
I spoke to him prior to that, and he had been trying for months and wasn't able, since GLM has dissolved, wasn't able to get anybody to give him a return phone call. So I'm glad he's found somebody. Okay, 42 Hartford.
42 Hartford, again, that COC we're gonna expect soon. Same with Red Robin.
Mhm.
The consultant from Tetra Tech, who we hired to mainly review the stormwater, did do a punch list of deviations. So that may not be a straightforward COC request. I think there are going to be some issues out there, but we'll
Okay.
see on that.
Mhm.
The town's online permitting project, which I'm very excited about. I think that's going to be a wonderful tool. That's going to give us a lot of information. It's going to make us much more efficient and really transparent with homeowners and consultants. So that's moving forward. I've had a request from our consultant, Bill, regarding Springdale Meadows. He is working with some students who are monitoring large meadowlands for their pollinator value. And he would just
Mhm.
like permission from us to have 3 students and himself come out maybe 2 or 3 times this summer and just evaluate the fields and do
Mhm.
insect counts and things. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to get approval from the commission to allow that.
And that's at no cost to us.
That's right.
Okay.
I mean,
Um,
it's public. I think they should just go. But also, can we get a copy of their report? I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's our quid pro quo for that. Access for a report.
Aye.
Okay, I hear and one eye. Anna,
I'll second.
Tim,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. So let them know.
Great. At the last meeting, I had brought up the topic of trying to look into electronic signature procedures. So I know Lori sent out some new information. I think we are just looking for written confirmation that the Norfolk Registry will accept electronic signatures. So it's a little
Well,
bit,
I think there was also, we need to, it had to be run by town council and as well as the selectmen because we can't make that decision. Apparently no one else is currently doing electronic signatures in town, on town boards. And so
Really?
yeah, so we need to, if we're going to be the first, we need to get, permission and to do so as a town board. And so Lori has been discussing that with the powers that be.
okay.
So we'll stay on that.
Okay, I sent out my draft article for the newsletter. Charles River Watershed is sponsoring an edible native plant ID walk, including you can eat Japanese knotweed.
Wow.
Who knew?
So I guess if you
And-
pick it at the right time, the greens, and I see Zaga's raising her head. Have you eaten Japanese knot?
I have yet to eat it, but like plant Instagram person that I follow taught me that you could.
Wow.
See, now if only the English knew how to cook, since they're being overrun with knotweed. I don't know if anybody knew, if you have knotweed in a yard in England, you can't get a mortgage. So
I did not know that.
yeah,
So,
it's,
so I think I was around for the first discovery of knotweed in Dover.
really.
Yeah, it was, you might remember this, John, but it was before the solar project. So,
Oh,
the
okay.
state wanted to put in some monitoring wells around the dump,
Mm-hmm.
and the state conservationist or whatever he was said, "Oh, that's Japanese knotweed. I haven't seen that in Dover before or heard about it."
Oh, I
And
think I remember,
Did
well, people still
this-
refer to it as bamboo, even though it
Yes.
doesn't look much
Oh,
like bamboo,
oh,
but yeah.
Does it look like bamboo?
It does.
Not, yeah,
A
in a,
little
in
bit.
a,
Big fat
in a
bamboo.
sideways type of way. It
Well,
doesn't grow,
it's
it doesn't
got
grow straight.
similar kind of leaves, and it grows up with those like a ringy kind of.
Yeah, there's little knuckles, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, that was also the first time I had ever seen the stream behind the dump. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it's still doing it, but it was brown
It's
It
still
is.
brown.
It's still
from the
brown.
rust.
Ooh,
I've
Yeah.
never been
interesting.
to
Did
this
they
stream
ever
behind the
did they
dump.
ever put those monitoring wells in?
I don't know that they did. I think they did, but I'm not sure.
Huh. Be interesting to see, where the data for that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that had to be in the 90s. Maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000. Well, and that
Yeah.
was also the discovery that the old dump actually was not owned by the town. No. So that was it.
Yes, that was part of Hale.
Yeah.
It was Hale
No.
property, yeah.
Interesting.
So,
So if
okay.
anyone has any comments, I'll need those by tomorrow. The
I-
deadline's
Oh.
Friday.
The only question I have for you, Janet, is, and I'm sorry if this is a old new question, but so we keep talking about signs and bounds. Do we have a Dover? You know how like we kept referring to Needham to get the sign stamp.
Yes.
Oh,
that-
the little red
The
disc,
little,
the little
yeah,
disc.
do we have one for Dover? Like,
So we have the specifications, but we don't provide that. But people go
Right.
out and get that. Usually surveyors, they usually can find it from the surveyors. Yeah,
Mhm,
okay.
mhm.
yeah.
Which reminds me, in terms of signs, Anna, did you, on the horse signs, did you check Amazon by any chance?
I did, and they were all the bright yellow caution signs.
Oh,
Which-
because I thought I'd seen a version, and I'll check my my list there of it was a sign that showed a hierarchy of pedestrians give way to mountain bikers give way to everybody, but and everybody gives pedestrians give way to horses, and so forth, and it was like a triangle that showed the different parties and who gave way to what. So I'll look it up and see if it's it may or may not be appropriate, but I'll let you know.
I've seen that on
Yeah.
trustees' properties. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
Rocky
that's a good
Narrows
point.
for sure has one.
Yeah.
That'd be
that's an
good.
interesting point. Talking to Sally, she may be able to hook us up with their sign person.
That'd be
too.
great.
Yeah,
The
that's good.
versions I've seen of the giveaway triangle were completely unintelligible, but I think those was the specific sign I had.
Yeah, no, but I think
Uh,
John has a good point. Sally will know. Sally,
Or-
will-
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
Mike Francis. I think Mike
I'll email Mike Francis.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think you
sure,
sent
yeah.
me his email before.
Mhm.
M. Francis at thetrustees.org. Think I
Okay.
mail it often? Like, there's a tree
Right,
down, Mike.
So,
so is it Zaga or
It's Zyga.
Zaga? So I
Zyga,
apologize.
yeah.
So we all
okay.
wear multiple hats. So we all are in various forms of different organizations.
Yeah.
So I'm on Concom, but I'm also leadership of the Norfolk Hunt Club. So I'm very involved with the horse stuff, which is in Anna and Tim's neighborhood. So we're all, and John's, like, and Amy's. So we're all friends. So we all.
Yeah. Now you need a sign for the like the horse sign, but for the commissioners to show how you're all
oh yeah,
interrelated.
we can make that unintelligible without thinking.
Yeah.
So we can.
But actually, we
So
don't
maybe
want
we
that
should go
because
through
we
and-
don't want that because I don't want people to know that I'm also on the Concom.
Introduce ourselves to you anyway. So I chair open space committee for the town. I'm a commissioner. I am the president of Dover Land Conservation Trust, the new president, because our previous president, Tom French, is now chair of the trustees.
Huh?
And I've done a lot with the trustees for a long time, on several boards and committees for them. But not as much as I used to, because I'm doing so many other things. And I'm also on the board of a Waltham organization called Gore Place for the trustees.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know. Yeah.
So cheap sharing
no,
in April. You'll all hear
Fun.
about it.
what's that in April? What?
They do a sheep sharing festival
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
at the end of April.
Just missed it. So Sarah, well,
And I
you
also ride horses, but
right, another
and I'm
hunt
a
club
member of the
member.
hunt, but I don't ride with the hunt. I just support it.
So, and Anna,
Anna has lots of hats too.
It is kind of adding up if I think about it. So I'm technically our newest member, but I've been here been over 3 years. I'm now I started off the town sustainability committee, and I'm our first chair as we are running around trying to figure ourselves out, which has been a fun year.
Yeah.
So it's been
I'm very
good.
excited that Dover has one now.
Yeah, we're trying to concentrate on things that sort of fall in the gaps. Biodiversity, water that's not like wetlands or like putting in wells, and like energy efficiency. So we're working on that. And then this all spun out of the occasionally still meeting housing subcommittee that I signed up for and been having interesting meetings. The MBTA bylaw town meeting is coming up, so FYI on that.
and then Tim, we can finally learn.
This
how
is
to
it.
hear.
This is it for me.
Currently.
Currently,
You're on a few other boards. They're just not in Dover.
right.
Right. But then, and you've been on this board for over 30 years?
33, 34 years, something like that.
Mhm.
Longer than anybody else has. So
Yep. And I've been on second to Tim, almost 20 years at this point. And I was asked to be on because as a builder, I'd done a number of presentations in front of the board. And I was kind of a tree hugging builder. And it helps to have a builder to counter, who can read plans and also provide a little pushback sometimes when necessary from developers, and keep them honest. Not that they don't have a predilection for honesty, since this is being recorded, but so that's and I built a number of houses in Dover. That's and obviously live in town. So
How long has
So-
everybody lived in Dover?
for me, 1991.
Okay.
and
34.
Anna, you went to school here, right?
Yeah, I grew up in town. See, I went to 1 year of Chickering and then middle school and high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
And-
the anomaly where I got divorced. I grew up in Needham, but married and lived in the city, and I got divorced. And I moved out here because my horses were here. So I moved out here in 2013. And
You're
Amy,
so new.
so to be honest, one of the reasons why I got involved with the Concom was my neighbor up above was doing work, and I have a perennial stream, and Amy was the one who kind of anointed me to say, I think you should be part of the Concom. And so I went to, when the Rollins were going up against the Concom, I was one of the budding neighbors, and I thought it was really fascinating. And the next thing I knew, I was involved. So
God, 2013. It doesn't.
that was 2013. That was when
Yeah, it seemed.
Sam and his father. It was Sam and what's his father's name? Soderholm. Ken,
Yeah.
they were like, and I remember clearly when I came to that, because at that point, we still met in person. It was way before COVID. And I remember Sam looking at his dad saying, "Who's that girl right there?" And I was like, "Hey, girl." I'm like, I remember that so clearly. And Tim was
Well,
with me because Tim was in construction, and Tim was like, "I'll go with you." And I'm like, and I remember Sam like saying to Ken,
well,
"Dad, who's that girl next to?" Anyway,
well, he was younger, as we're all. And
we were.
Amy,
But yeah.
did you what was your how long did you have a
So I
summer house
didn't move,
here?
I moved here in 98, but then I was in England from 2001 to 5. But my family's been here since 1917 as a vacation place, my great-grandparents' vacation place that my grandparents sold the old farmhouse, but kept most of the land and built a little Hudson house. That is what I'm in now, which
Oh.
was their weekend house.
Wow.
They lived in an apartment on Beacon Street in the Back Bay.
Mhm.
And when my grandmother died, my mom kept it in case my brother or I wanted to live here. And my brother lived here for about 4 years. And then when his daughter started school in Cambridge, he decided that was kind of a long commute and moved in closer. And I moved out from Beacon Hill. Because like Sarah, my horses were out here. So,
So Janet, how long have you been here in town?
I've been here 30 years. Yeah,
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Congrats, nice round number.
And
Yeah,
Sega,
and
how long have you been here?
My family moved here in 1986. I'm DS class of 93. I moved away for a little while. I was probably gone for about 7 years, or maybe 10 years if you count like some like sort of post college, through my grad school and stuff. And then I came back, and it was initially a like move back in with parents and as a transitional thing, and then I just never left. So I was like, I just liked Dover too much. So
are your parents, are you still there as well?
yeah, we have a house that has an in-law apartment, which my grandmother lived in. That's like why we moved here, is because we needed a house that she could live with us and still have her own space. But by the time I moved back, she was in a nursing home, so they were like, "Oh, why don't you move in?"
Oh, sweet.
Like,
Oh, great.
fine. So,
Well,
and it's
that's
good because they're aging, so I can be around to
Yeah.
help them out with stuff.
So it's funny, Amy was talking about 1917. So my house was built in 1917.
Yeah.
And I have not lived here since then. But but I was just going through some old documents the other day as I'm trying to clean things out of my house, because we have a barn attached, and my daughter has come up with a brilliant idea that I should build an in-law apartment there for my wife and me, and she should get the house. And
not a bad
and
idea. I mean,
no,
as
and
long as
then
she's gonna take care of you guys. I mean,
well, so we were actually walking through, sort of pacing out some things, and she, with a grand gesture said, "And this is for childcare," meaning her future kids would be able to come right over and visit the grandparents. And I went in the opposite direction. I said, "And this is for senior care." Uh, and but the documents I was reviewing, this used to be, Dover didn't used to not have street numbers. So my house was known as the Post Farm. And then I found a trove of documents while I was cleaning things out. And George Post was a farmer who used to own Powysset Farm. And had dairy cows there. He sold it to Amelia Peabody.
I was gonna say he sold it to Amelia Peabody. Yeah.
So he got a chunk of change, and he built my house, which is a gentleman farmer's house, stucco barn and different materials. And then 20 years later, he sold it back to her. And so the people before me bought the house from her. And So it was, I didn't realize it had, and I'm across the street from New Annan, so.
Oh, yeah, right,
Yes.
you're right there.
Yeah, so, and I have a couple horse stalls, but no horse. So whoops, and no Zygo either. And so, oh no, somebody just signed off, didn't they? Oh,
No, Anna just went dark.
oh, that's what, oh, okay.
Tim should
So,
be signing off because he just had back surgery, so I can't believe he's still.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay sitting.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
okay,
are?
oh, good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up with you, Tim, on that.
Sure.
So yeah, so it's so I have a more historical house than I knew. So, and I've been here since 94 is when I bought it, and then the people who lived here had raised 14 kids here, and so I gave them 3 years to move out because the barns were all filled to the gills with 30 some odd years worth of stuff.
So
And
14 kids in your house?
yes, and
Wow.
we have one, and we're looking to expand. So the house, not the kids. So yeah, how they even made it to school on time, I have no idea. The oldest moved out to the back barn and built a mezzanine and put his bedroom up there, just so he could, get a little privacy. So it was,
But
they were,
it is funny, John, because I knew, I mean, obviously growing up in Needham, it was different, but my mom had a lot of friends who lived on Farm Street, and she said no one ever had a number. The
Right.
mailman knew who everyone
Mhm.
was. Like,
Well, when I bought this, because actually I bought it because I used to cycle from Boston and bike out to, through here, and I thought it was, if I lived here, I wouldn't have to go through all that traffic. And so the person who owned it before me, the town started charging him as if he had subdivided the land. So it was 10 acres. So he said, well, okay, I will. So in the 50s, when they came up with street numbers, they didn't take into account that somebody might actually subdivide things. So the houses I put up around me, I'm at 35. There's a 35A, a
that's
35B,
I was
a
wondering about that.
35C,
Right.
because they went from mine 35 to 37, and never thinking
Right.
that there'd be, four
Right.
more lots in there.
Right.
And so we have looks like to the mailman, it looks like a giant complex.
Well, the same on Farm Street. We've got a 21A, 21B, like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're all over town.
yeah.
Hmm.
Those-
Yeah, I prefer one of the back lots should have been 35 bis. The rear lot in France would have been, a little cachet, but nope, just us. So anyway, let's see, last but well, welcome. Thank you very much. Appreciate your service already. And
Good to be here.
last thing we have, Janet, is the Charles River Water Association.
Yeah, and then just a couple other things. So Charles River Watershed, they started their aquatic invasive removal project for water chestnut in Red Wing Bay. I think they had a good turnout. So that'll be continuing. I'll send out the schedule if people are interested in volunteering. That's going to continue through the summer. A couple other things. I sent out an email on 59 Main Street. So on Monday,
Oh, yeah.
Lori had received a message from a concerned resident that like 20 to 30 trucks of gravel and dirt were being brought in at 59 May. It's a pork chop lot of 10 acres, so it's quite a bit of land. I had never noticed that parcel before.
That Brian Austin's property is
yes.
at the farm?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Why are
Um,
they taking gravel down there?
So they have
That's-
a very large agricultural project going on back there.
Yeah,
So-
he had a CSA for many years, and then he
Okay.
was leasing it to somebody who did flowers.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't
So,
know what they're doing now, but
it's hard to tell. It looks like they were just bringing in soil and some gravel, to amend things.
Mhm.
But Trout Brook is towards the back. There are also wetlands.
Right,
it-
and a lot of Army Corps easement.
Okay,
So, and he's been, Jen, I think predating you, he'd been in front of us for clearing out trees within the wetlands in order to create proper airflow for the agriculture there. And what we bumped into is the fact that as a farm, he doesn't need to get our approval from for the normal things. So are you familiar with that?
Not if it's on Army Corps land.
No, well, we'll find
I
that
mean,
out.
Army Corps easement.
But we don't know. I mean, it's 10 acres. We don't know where the gravel is but it's
No,
the
but
question.
I mean, clearing trees in the Army Corps easement would
Oh,
be.
but that's not what its issue right at the moment. I think it's just the dirt that's come in. The question there is, if he's doing it to augment soil for a farm, he may be able to hold to that exemption. If he's doing it because he's trying to bring up things above the water table so that he can sell it as some sort of developable land, then that becomes a completely different story. So Jana, what's your where do you stand in terms of
so,
knowledge about what they're up to?
I think it would be worth, usually what we do is send a letter to the homeowner saying, we'd like to have you, we've received a concern. And we, invite them into our next meeting just to talk about the work on the site. I didn't know a lot of this history. There are some exemptions for agricultural use, but you cannot change the surface contours or overall drainage patterns. And with the amount of fill I saw on the site, that would be a concern.
Well, also the concern I have is if there's 10 or more loads of gravel as opposed to loam, that's a little bit, that's perfectly reasonable for us to find out why.
Yeah. So I tried to find a phone number for him, and Lori's going to be out until the 7th. So what I'd propose is I would just draft a letter and drop it off at his house.
He lives on River
Edgewater.
Right.
Yep.
He lives basically across Trout Brook from the land.
Yeah.
Right. He's at all the way near the end there.
He might even have, I think he's even got like a little footbridge across.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think we definitely want some explaining. So,
okay. All right, so I'll get that out.
But look into what some of the issues are with DEP relative to farm exemptions.
Right.
Prior to we had a knockdown drag out with somebody who expanded a cart path because he said he was going to be raising prize gladiolas, and he was changing the use of his land from residential to farm, and he came up with a $500 invoice for logs, which that's your threshold for selling, $500 worth of goods. And that way he was therefore not under our jurisdiction. And it was very obvious. He took out a tennis court, put in a bunch of planting beds, and DEP backed him up. We looked like a slam dunk that it was clear he was just doing this so that he could get a house lot in there, and he just was thinking ahead of time, and we filed a enforcement order, and he sued the town. He sued multiple boards in the town for many things, but he appealed our order to DEP, and DEP backed him up. So surprise.
Was this our town, John, or
that was on Pagan Lane? If you go up,
wow,
there's a long driveway going in off behind Colburn's.
It's where the Fitz bought the property, and we're gonna build, and then Beth bought it.
Yeah. So it's Doug Grip. It was, I know.
But he built that big bridge over the stream.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so
For a
anyway,
cart
so
path.
things that
Bruce
don't seem quite as
Gladiolas.
obvious.
It wasn't the Fitzes, it was the Thompsons.
Thompson's, yes, that's who it was, right. So yeah, so that's one of the things. So just Janet, just to just maybe do a little bit of research, just so that we don't we have all our ducats in a row there.
The only other is
Brian's
15
not like the Thompsons. Brian
Oh, good.
Austin is not like the Thompsons.
Okay.
Um,
So-
at our last meeting, 15 Farm Street, some of the commission members brought up a concern about some erosion at the entrance at 15. And so their property manager on that project is looking into that. And I think Anna and Amy and John, you were copied on that. So but I believe that's DLCT land. Is that correct?
Oh, that's a good
Right,
point.
it's a driveway easement, a driveway and utility easement that they
Yeah.
have.
So they opened up the driveway to bring the new utilities in, and then went up the side of DLCT
They went-
property.
No, they have a driveway easement across the DLCT property at 3 Farm Street.
I get that. At the bottom of that driveway easement.
At the bottom of the
is
drive, and so
stream.
when they put the utilities next to the driveway,
No,
and so they had to open it up.
Yeah.
To do
no,
that.
but there was no erosion control. There was no filing with us.
Oh, there was erosion control, and I told them to talk to Janet. I thought they had talked to you, Janet, and we'd done it. I thought we did an RDA or something.
No, they
was-
were supposed to get back to me. And then I never heard anything, and then they went ahead and did the work.
And then there was enough erosion.
No,
that
I think
happened.
the work was already, I don't know. I thought the work was already done.
No, it was
it
because
had not been
there was a
permitted.
lot of a lot of gravel that went into the stream there and across into the field. So obviously what I didn't see much erosion
Some of
control.
that dirt and gravel
Also comes off
isn't
Farm Street.
from there.
Yeah.
It was
No,
from a
so some of it also.
hole
some of
in
it
the
also-
DLCT wall, but
Mhm, yeah,
So,
so it's a.
well, I'm
But
not
that was-
sure.
That
but
was, so that's what was, it was evident from there, and then where they had put it in next to the driveway as they brought the conduit up, they dug that trench. It wasn't seeded very well, and there was a lot of erosion that came off that and went down the driveway. So that's what, so Janet, did you see, had the grass taken on that point, on going up the driveway there?
Not really. So the project manager said he's looking into this. We'll do, everything we can to try to resolve it and stabilize it. But I haven't heard back from him since his first email.
Okay, let's stay on it just so it doesn't get worse, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last is 139 Center Street. Anna had sent some pictures. Our land management group was concerned about some clearing in the back and its impact on the trail. And their wetland consultant is looking into that, but I have not heard back from him, but I will stay on top of that.
Because
Mhm.
when we did the permitting for 139 Center, we were mostly concerned about the front of the land.
That's
Because
right.
Yeah.
because they said they were not going to clear any trees in the back.
Yeah.
Because the
Mhm.
building lot was already cleared, 20
Right.
years ago when the Gibbons were gonna build something there and then they didn't.
So Amy, remind me, what's 139 Center Street?
It's
Cooperleaf. It's
It's
the one
the-
where we had just the culvert.
it's a pork chop that goes back and it abuts Wild Woods.
It's across from
Near the
not too
dad
far
meets
from
and
Snow Hill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's basically, it was a long
Near the
it's a gravel
Walkers.
driveway that's been sort of sitting there for years.
Okay.
And so Anna, you sent some photos out for that, but they were in a Google Drive that wasn't accessible.
Yeah, and then I think everyone sorted them out. So I tried to attach it and send it to Janet, and then Gmail decided that it was going to send it as a like linked file. So instead of just a normal attachment, I guess because the email would have been too big.
Mhm. Oh, and then you need a
So
password to get access?
Do you
or-
but they
wanna-
needed me to click a button, and it looks like they got themselves all the photos sent to each other.
Can you
Um,
share the photos?
Yeah, let me pull them up. A second.
Is this the property that's like developing? Like, if you're in Wild Woods, deep,
Oh, you know what? I think I just got from Mark from EcoTerra. Well,
So
yeah.
yeah,
when
this
Rick
is
and
it,
Greg
this
were
is it.
out, they
So,
noticed this.
yeah, so
Wow.
when I've been behind, yes, this is exactly, and it says Copperleaf Development. If you're going down Center Street, this is exactly. And so if you come in from the other side from the woods, this is exactly.
And there is a trail easement on just one little corner of this
Right.
property.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's like
And-
right behind where this photo is being taken.
Exactly
So
what,
is this
exactly.
is this more of a property issue, or is there a proximity to wetlands issue as well?
There are wetlands in
Like right on
Wildwood,
the property line.
right on the property
okay.
border.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can see something has been driving over the erosion control.
Sure. And the erosion control looks like it's been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, John, there's all orange. They've been good about putting orange, like, erosion,
Construction fence.
right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And it's funny because I just pulled up a thing from Mark at EcoTerra, which came in 2 days ago. Oh, no, it came in yesterday that he responded with his own photos. Did you see those?
Yep. Yep. I just saw
Oh.
them.
I haven't
So,
seen.
which seems to be more orange fencing. And
I can share my screen again. So here's one.
yep.
We're still
Yeah,
going over
exactly.
the.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, and then you can see the orange right there. Yep.
Yep.
So this is all. Yep, exactly.
So those the first ones that you showed there with the trail. Nope, I think it's the ones that Mark had sent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so is that a trail that then goes back, it goes into Wild Woods, or is that going the other direction on their property?
I think it's Wild Woods, but I could.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So
And so but there's also a trail that goes behind where the orange like kind of
Over here.
like, yeah, over there, Anna.
yeah, maybe there's another view of that. Yeah.
So
yeah, right
we
there.
stopped, like, as horse people, we stopped when we were like, oh my God, there's like.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Janet, Anna, did you send that out to oh no, okay, so then Mark responded to Janet yesterday with that. And that was on the
There's wetlands in the middle of the property too. Do you want me to share mass
sure.
mapper?
Yeah.
Mm.
I've been trying to be honest, like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. So meanwhile,
So this is the easement trail here.
okay, and the pictures that we just saw, any guess where they are on that property? Are they an expansion of that empty area
Well,
in the back?
this is where they said they were going to build the house,
Right.
but they clearly have cleared a lot more than that.
And did they clear up by
And
that
there's-
trail?
Look at
further up
there's
to-
that, and there's this, and there's
So does it
all
look like when
this.
you go up to the right where the trail comes in on the property, does that look like we're part of the area that they cleared? Where, you know,
Yeah,
where-
it's my understanding. It's like right where the trail and the property
Yeah.
cross, they've
Yeah.
definitely done clear.
I mean, John, when I've been on horseback, it's like, boom, like our trail is like cut off, like.
Well, and they've supposedly what at least from meetings that we've had in the past, from what I understood, they were okay with maintaining, allowing access to that trail to go through there. But Anna, was this one of
They
the
have no
we-
choice, John. We have a deeded easement.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and then they're
So,
gonna be happy with
okay,
that.
well then let's get to action items, which would be, so Janet, it seems like, so you got a response from Mark. Should you set up a site visit to see if there's anything that's been within 100 feet of the wetlands?
Yes, I'll set that up with him.
Okay, then, I think
I'll,
that's all
I'll
we,
send you the trail do you have the trail easement? I think I sent it to you before, Janet, but I can send it again if you want.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think they're disputing that, but.
No, I know, but just so you know where it is.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
That's the Wildwood, Amy, that's the Wildwood easement, or just the,
It's a little bit of the easement.
or the.
I'll send it to both of you. How's that?
Perfect.
well, it would seem, is this one of the areas that we were thinking at some point, looking into, bounds? And I think there was that and up behind, Corrigan's house further up where, where things were, people were getting close to to Wildwood's property.
Well,
Let's
this
follow
one, it didn't look like they were going to get anywhere near
No,
us,
no,
but
it
they
didn't, but I
did.
think, so we need to find out and get that located and see if it's within 100 feet. And I think if it is of the wetland, then, one of the, either enforcement or, NOI capacities there would be, bounding those corners. So, on their part. So, okay, well, just keep us posted, Janet, please.
Okay, yep, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does anyone have anything else that they'd like to bring to anybody's attention?
I just
So-
wish him a healthy recovery from his back surgery.
Oh,
thanks.
absolutely.
Turns out it was pretty minor.
I know, but
But,
still, back
It's still surgery.
Still a little sore.
Surgery.
Can you feel any difference?
It's hard to tell.
That's what I'm thinking.
I also strained my back muscles on Friday,
Just in preparation, yeah.
trying to pick something up, that I shouldn't have done. And so that hurts more than anything else. So.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, well, ice is your friend. And,
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thanks.
And thank you, everybody, and thank you, Zyga.
Thank you.
For joining us. We're looking
Welcome.
forward to it. And
Excited for the
everyone,
adventure.
and have a good time the next 2 weeks, everyone. Okay,
Right.
night.
Good night.
Bye.